Hey, this is Real Life through the Book of Psalms. This is our first ever Real Life through the Book of Psalms, as we're going to go through the book using Alabaster's Book of Psalms. It's beautifully thought out. Its visual design is amazing, and we can't wait to get through this with you. So we hope that you would join us in this journey, as the Book of Psalms is truly all about joy and lament at the same exact time. And so we get to see these amazing poems written by amazing individuals, and David being one of them. And so we get to just be raw and honest and open as we're going to talk through this and talk about real life as we go through the Book of Psalms. All right, so let's get started. Psalms chapter 1. If you're driving, watching, whatever you're doing, let's jump in. Chapter 1, verse 1 says this: "Oh, the joys of those who do not follow the advice of the wicked, or stand around with sinners, or join them in with mockers. But they delight in the law of the Lord, meditating on it day and night. They are like trees planted among the riverbanks, bearing fruit each season. Their leaves never wither, and they prosper in all that they do. But not the wicked." Look at the difference here. "They are like worthless chaff scattered by the wind. They will be condemned at the time of judgment. Sinners will have no place among the godly. For the Lord watches over the path of the godly, but the path of the wicked leads to destruction." So out of the gate here is, again, the joys of those who do not follow the advice of the wicked. I don't know if you've had a friend or anyone that's given you bad advice before. I'm sure every single one of us has received bad advice, and you know where that leads to, right? When it's not good advice, it leads to things that are terrible, let's be honest. But it says something in verse 2 that is so clear in this, that we delight in the law of the Lord and we meditate on day and night. This is the point. When we focus on God's word, when we focus on the words of Jesus, that's what it's saying. We're delighting in the law of the Lord, delighting in the things that He's teaching us, that He's telling us to do. There's so much wisdom in the Book of Psalms. But point of this, that we meditated on it day and night. That's saying spending time in it, understanding what these things are saying, jumping into God's word, reading it. And I know at times, let's be honest, it's hard to read. I'm being super truthful. It is difficult to read at times, especially when you read these types of things. What is this talking about? This is why we want to go through this, so we can talk through these things, so we can talk truthfully about it, so we can read these verses and go, what in the world is this saying? But truly, again, just delighting in the law of the Lord, delighting in Jesus, making sure that we're getting the wisdom that we need from His word and from Him. And it goes on to say, if we do this, right, it's like a tree planted along the riverbank. It's going to bear fruit in each season. The river's going to give us what we need. That's the point of this. It's going to give us what we need, and we're going to prosper in all that we do. Why? Because we're getting the wisdom that we need from Jesus. We're getting the wisdom that we need from His word. And then it goes on to say in verse 4, "But not the wicked." Those that are, again, they're worthless chaff. They're scattered by the wind. Anything that comes their way, they're just going, oh, I'm going to go that direction. I'm going to go this direction. There's no wisdom in that, right? There's no wisdom from the wicked. And so this says in verse 5, "They will be condemned at the time of judgment. Sinners have no place among the godly." But then reverse of that, "For the Lord watches over the path of the godly, but the path of the wicked leads to destruction." Why? Jesus watches over us. He's in control of everything. He loves us. He cares for us. He cares about the time that we spend with Him. And so it's, again, meditating on His word, being with Him and walking with Him. I know many times you read God's word, you have questions. There's answers, right? But we have to be able to jump in, look to God's word, look to what He's saying, and get the wisdom that we need that only comes from Him. So I want to encourage you, delight in it. Get your wisdom from God's word. Get your wisdom from godly people. Get your wisdom from Jesus Himself. You'll see what happens. Life will radically change. You're going to make better decisions overall because you're focused on the thing that you're supposed to be focused on. That's Jesus and His word. Hey, thanks for joining us for the first ever Real Life through the Book of Psalms. We'll see you tomorrow.